doing, darlings? My name is David Coverdale. Hello. Good evening. Wow, this is cool. I didn't even know you guys were here. This is cool. Thank you. A lot of comedians, they need like a packed comedy club or a theater. Not me. You got a garage and a six-pack, I can do a live album. So. We are in a speakeasy. This is an illegal club. This is so cool, right? We're literally going to party like it's 1929 tonight. And glad you guys are here drinking illegally with me. That's cool, man. I'm missing my favorite drinking buddy back home, though, because we all have that one friend always up for a cocktail, right? I always say to my buddy, hey, Rip, what time you want to start drinking on Saturday? And he'll go, Thursday. That's a great drinking buddy, right? Love people like that. And I'm a beer drinker, and not just a beer drinker, cheap beer drinker. Where's my cheap beer drinkers? Yeah? What do you drink, dude? Root beer. Root beer, holy shit. You've gone to the extreme, holy shit. By the way, it's nice having Gallagher in the front row of my show. I appreciate it. That's so cool, man. You want to come up and do the watermelon bit at any point, you're welcome to, man. I like the cheap beer, man. I like Miller Lite. If you like Coors Light, that's cool. If you drink Bud Light, that's fine. Just don't come up to me and say that dilly-dilly shit to me, okay? Yeah, because I'll punch you in your dilly-dilly dick if you do that. You're a grown man. Never fucking say that, okay? And I know a lot of people like these craft beers, okay? That's not for me, though. Because here's the thing, right? You've been drinking whatever. You've been drinking root beer your whole life. No problem, right? And maybe you have a Coors Light once in a while, but then a friend comes up and goes, oh, dude, that's bullshit beer. Let's go to the bar. I'm going to get you a couple of Blue Moons. Don't do it, Gallagher. That shit will change you. Now you're drinking craft beer every weekend. A month later, your bank account's empty, and you're walking around with a neck beard and a fucking man bun. That's right, craft beer is fertilizer for a man bun, okay? I'm not paying $12 for a glass of oatmeal and fermented lawn clippings. It smells like a laundry bag with a hint of hipster jizz in it. 6 months after that, you're driving around in a Prius with a Vote Bernie bumper sticker, listening to Imagine Dragons, on your way to a Kickstarter campaign for a gluten-free vape shop. I'm gluten-free! I'm GMO-free! You're an asshole, that's what you are. I'm gonna live forever. No, you're not. You know who's gonna live forever? Keith Richards is gonna live forever, right? Keith Richards is 175 years old. Still out rocking like a motherfucker, right? You think Keith Richards cares when the catering in a Stone show is gluten-free or not? He's like, hey, give me a bottle of Jack Daniels and some black tar heroin. I'm going to play Tumbling Dice right now. Because I like to drink. Some people are miserable drunks. I'm a miserable sober. And I like, yeah, you too, bro? Yeah, absolutely, man. I love you in Duck Dynasty, by the way. You're my favorite guy, man. Yeah, no, I can see everybody in this motherfucker. Yeah. Here's what I love. I love when they've combined now alcohol with things you would never normally do. Like, you ever see these wine and painting classes? Yeah, nobody here ever had the urge to be a fucking painter. You open a few bottles of wine, all of a sudden you're Andy Warhol, right? I have a doggy daycare center in my neighborhood, just got their liquor license. I immediately adopted 2 rescue pups. Honey, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm an animal lover. And if you don't drink, that's fine. Just don't preach to me, right? That's all I ask, man. I had a friend come up to me and goes, dude, you should quit drinking. At least I don't wake up with a headache every morning. I'm like, I don't either. I'm a comedian. I sleep till 12:30 in the afternoon. I beat the system, motherfucker. Go give me fucking 6 Bud Lights. Dilly dilly. Let's go, right? You know, there's a lot of things that can give you a headache in the morning, right? Being married for a long time, having a bunch of kids, going to a job that doesn't appreciate, that doesn't pay you well, right? They don't recommend rehab for that, do they? Can you imagine that? You're in with somebody with real problems, you sound like a total dick. Be like, hey, dude, what are you in for? And be like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. This is my 12th rehab. It's really tough to quit. How about you? I've been married 3 times. putting 2 kids through college. I'm paying alimony. I got 2 mortgages, and I'm working as a telemarketer right now. Bro, you're gonna be in here for a while. You should have been an alcoholic. You would have been out here in 30 days. I had a friend tell me the other day, he goes, dude, you don't need to drink when you go out at night. If you just go to the bar and drink energy drinks all night, it's like liquid cocaine. No, it's not, Gallagher. I don't know anybody who ever drank a can of Monster and then told a total stranger their entire life story, got a nosebleed, and had to apologize to everybody at the party from the night before. I don't know anybody who took a can of Monster, poured it over a CD case, and tried to chop it up into lines with a razor blade. I never saw somebody living under a bridge because they lost their family, their job, and their house and go, dude, what happened? Smoking crack? No, vanilla mean bean. Dangerous stuff, but it's really not. Now I don't do drugs. I prefer to let alcohol destroy my life. Well, weed's not really a drug, right? In some states it's a drug, some states it's not. That's kind of a weird thing, right? Yeah. You know, and I know it started out here in Hollywood. You guys had the first legal weed out here. I don't know a lot about weed. I just know that there's 3 distinct types, right? There's indica, sativa, and hybrid, which all sound like makes of cars that I can't afford to drive. Yeah, I was going to drive the Chevy Sativa, but it was like $570 a month, man. But it runs on bong water. That's pretty cool. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you get high tonight, right? Worst thing that ever happened when I got high, man? Almost ordered Cheez-Its in bulk off of Amazon.com. Through my Alexa, of course, right? Luckily, I was so high, I was talking to a Yankee Candle the entire time. Saved like $350. It's beautiful, man. It was great. Why is it legal in some states, not legal in others? It doesn't make any sense. I'm waiting for it to be legal in every state, then I'm going to buy it in bulk and go down to Mexico and start selling it, man. That's right, man. That's why I can't have Trump build the wall, man. He's going to fuck up my whole business plan, man. Actually, I do want Trump to build the wall for 2 reasons, and I'll tell you why. Don't judge me yet. I'm going to tell you why. Because he's so crazy and impulsive, and he's not getting enough money from Congress, that you know he's going to screw it up somehow, right? Yeah, because he's saying, you know, he's on TV, I'm going to build a wall 2,000 miles long and 30 feet high, and then it's going to end up like the Stonehenge in that Spinal Tap movie. And it'll be 200 miles long and 3 feet high. And he'll be on TV going, I told you I'd build the wall, believe me. And behind him, thousands of Mexican families will just be stepping over the wall, coming into the country. And I think everybody should come to America because we are the greatest country in the world. Am I right about that? All right, 6 people think so. Everybody else is colluding with the Russians, apparently. I can prove, Duck Dynasty, that this is the greatest country in the world. Right? Because you're the real deal. You're reality TV. But all these Hollywood celebrities out here where you guys live all said the same thing during the election. If Trump gets elected, what'd they tell you? I'm moving to Canada. Where are they right now? Still here, right? Because no matter how fucked up this country is, still better than living in Canada, eh? Yeah, I think it's racist. That's why they want to go up there, because there's white people up there, right? Yeah, if I hated Trump, I'd be like, I'm going to Mexico, right? I'll take the exotic beaches, the tropical weather, and the chicks in the bikinis. What am I getting in Canada? Fucking frozen tundra, poutine, and Celine Dion? Fuck that shit, man. And the other reason I want Trump to build the wall is because I think Chinese tourists should have a wall to visit when they come to this country. That's right, think about it, the Great Wall of America. Think of the marketing possibilities right there. 500 years from now, people will be going, yeah, they built that during the Trump dynasty. Now, you've gotten through the entire political section of my act, so congratulations. That's all I have. But the truth is, it is a very sensitive time right now, man. Because everything you say gets you in trouble nowadays, and it makes you crazy, right? Because they take every word literally. Like you can't take an illegal left turn anymore, right? You got to take an undocumented left turn now. You can't have a disabled car on the side of the road. You have to have a differently challenged car on the side of the road. You can't wear a wife beater t-shirt anymore. You gotta wear I done told her one shirt now. Can't say illegal alien, right? Yeah, you have to say undocumented alien, as if the offensive word was illegal. I think the offensive word is alien, right? No matter how you come into this country, you're still a human being, right? Yeah. It's like, let's say a spaceship landed out here in front of the club tonight. And we all ran out there and the ramp came down and they started coming down. We wouldn't be like, holy shit, look, it's Mexicans from outer space. Just have fun with your life, man. That's what it's all about, man. God bless America, and God bless the people who wear the uniform, who serve this country 24/7, 365. Give it up for them right now. You know who I'm talking about, right? That's right. The UPS delivery person. Because when I need a selfie stick, a My Pillow, and tea tree shampoo on 2 days' notice, those are the real heroes in the United States of convenience, right? That's right. Anybody here? Any guys you use the tea tree shampoo? Anybody? Use it? You do? Yeah. See, I know why, Duck Dynasty. I know why. Because you lather up here, right? Then you take a handful and you put it down there, right? Your balls will tingle like a motherfucker for like 15 minutes, right? It'll be like 100 little Trumpian hands massaging your testicles. If the owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, had only used tea tree shampoo, he would have never went to that happy ending place in Florida. I'm a big football fan, but I don't know, football's got kind of boring for me, man. Because there's so many rules now and so many penalties and so many commercial breaks. There's no rhythm to the game anymore, man, and it kind of sucks, right? Like even the player introductions, like when they put the video up and the player in a very monotone voice says their name, their position, and what college they went to. Does anybody here care what college this multi-millionaire automatically got passed through for 4 years? No. I say you spice it up. You say your name, your position, and your favorite sexual position. Tom Brady, quarterback, doggy style. So I can deflate my balls on Giselle's back and high-five my personal trainer at the same time. Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback, backed into a corner in a frat house. And the biggest NFL screw-up of all time, Johnny Manziel, unemployed, solo. The NFL screws everything up. I love how they show promos every 10 seconds for the shitty sitcoms that are going to come on after the game. You ever see those? You think a guy who was hanging sheetrock for 40 hours that week is down in his basement with like 10 of his buddies with a case of beer, a bottle of Jack, and a reasonable amount of methamphetamine? It's going, guys, shh, be quiet. Look. The new season of Young Sheldon is starting after the game tonight. The only Sheldon he cares about if it's his bookie's name and he owes him fucking money, right? They screw everything up, man. Even the Super Bowl, the biggest sporting event in history. They haven't had a rock band play in about 15 years, right? Who did they have this past Super Bowl? Do you remember, Gallagher? Good, I'm glad you don't remember. But I'm going to tell you who it was. Maroon 5. Let me tell you something. I'd rather go to a cutlery store with O.J. Simpson while I'm showing him pictures of me fucking his girlfriend on my iPhone. You know what I'm saying, bro? Then watch that halftime show, right? Adam Levine took his shirt off. I thought his nipples were going to come through the TV and poke my fucking eyes out, man. Yeah, moves like Jagger. Move like Jagger the fuck off the stage and let a real rock band play up there, right? Yeah. Who wouldn't want to see AC/DC play the Super Bowl halftime show? I went to see an AC/DC tribute band a few weeks ago. They were called ADHD. They played the first third of every song and then went right into the next one. I'm like, get these fuckers some Ritalin. I want to hear Back in Black in its entirety, man. And I might be a little biased. I was the co-host of a TV series you might know called That Metal Show. Thank you guys for watching. For people who are listening to the CD who don't know it, it wasn't a show about building ships or welding or anything. It was a hard rock and heavy metal talk show on a channel called VH1 Classic, yeah. Not regular VH1, right? We're on VH1 Classic, which is the difference between hiring Alec Baldwin and Stephen Baldwin, okay? We were so far up the dial, they didn't even air our series in high definition. People are like, what's up with that? I'm like, we're three middle-aged white guys wearing concert shirts. Don't need to see that too clearly, okay? It's like watching porn in HD, right? Open sores and stretch marks. Don't need to see that too clearly either. People are like, what happened to the show? I go, they took VH1 Classic off the air, so give us credit. We know how to get a fucking show canceled, right? We take down the whole fucking network with us too, man. And people go, oh, well, you know, why can't you get a new home for it? I'm like, I agree, because we got metalheads all over the world, but it's a different time, 2019. You know what's a hit show now? There's a show on Netflix called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. Little Japanese woman doesn't speak any English. She comes to your house and she cleans it. That's a hit show. So I say, how about me, Jim, and Eddie? We'll come to your house. We'll learn Japanese. We'll clean it, and we'll fucking bring Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, and fucking Megadeth with us. And we'll talk about Black Sabbath for an hour. How about that for a show? That'd be great. And I'll give you a happy ending, just to rub it in a little bit. We're the last people, I think, on Earth who are not politically correct. Am I right about that? Come on. Yeah. We're not PC. We're not woke. Yeah, we wake and bake. That's what we do, man. The rock crowds can handle it. We don't walk around calling Def Leppard hearing impaired leopard. You know, it's not great white privilege. Nashville pussy's not Nashville female reproductive organs. I love going out, man. I go out and tour with bands a lot now, man. I love mixing comedy with rock music, man. Because people go, oh, no, that rock and comedy doesn't mix. I say rock and comedy mixes like Courtney Love and Crazy. You know what I'm talking about? It's a perfect fit, you know what I mean? Because some of the funniest people in the world are hard rock and metal musicians, man. I interviewed Alice Cooper many, many times, man. He always has a great, funny story, and at the end, killer punchline that'll bring the house down, man. He's sort of like the Bill Cosby of metal, you know what I'm talking about? All right, without the roofies and the bad sweaters, but you know what I'm saying. Ozzy Osbourne, same things. To this day, the king of one-liners, right? He's like the Rodney Dangerfield of heavy metal. He really is, man. He had to go to rehab a few years ago, and this guy was interviewing him. He said, do you have anything to say to Sharon before you go in? And he goes, yeah, I guess tell her, Mama, I'm not coming home. And we almost lost him, too, man. He almost died, but Sharon wouldn't let him out of his contract, so... I love touring with the bands, man. I toured with a band called Paradise Kitty, all-female Guns N' Roses tribute. The singer Jenna was so much like Axl Rose, sometimes her period didn't show up on time. I almost forgot about that one, Jenna. I toured with Zakk Wylde from Ozzy's band. We all know Zakk Wylde in here, right? Remember when Zakk joined Ozzy in 1987, how blonde and beautiful he was? He looked like a chick I took to the high school prom, right? You see him now? Yeah, he looks like a guy that would abduct a chick from the high school prom. And Zack's hairy too, man. We didn't even have bunks on the bus. We all just slept in his fucking beard, man. Except for the roadies, they slept in his pubes. He's so hairy, he could be a stunt double for an Italian woman's pussy. I could edit the laugh in. I don't really give a shit. And Zakk doesn't shower, right? You guys know that about Zakk. He once went 77 days without showering. Yeah, he was gonna go 78, but he didn't want to be gross. Can you imagine 77 days without showering? He must have stunk worse than a Coldplay album. And he sweats like a motherfucker on stage, man. He sweats more than a fucking suicide bomber at TSA, I'm telling you. We just played pranks on each other the whole time on the road. It was so much fun, man. Like one time, Zakk got off the bus, so I took his guitar and I hit it, and he came back and he was all panicked, and we laughed at him. But then he got me back hard the next day. I woke up in the morning and he had shoved a Buzz Lightyear action figure into my anal cavity. You know, fun stuff like that. And then they called me Buzztightrear for the rest of the tour. So. I think we got a few Black Sabbath fans in the house, yeah? My favorite album by Black Sabbath is the album Volume 4. You know why? Because when they recorded that in 1972, they spent $75,000 in cocaine making that album. And that was just for Ozzy. Put it this way, Manuel Noriega bought cocaine off of Black Sabbath in the 70s. That album is 42 minutes long. They were so gacked up, they recorded the whole thing in 11 minutes. But my favorite song by Black Sabbath is the song Sweetly from Master of Reality, right? Because you know the soundbite at the beginning, that coughing sound? So if you don't know what that is, that's Tony Iommi smoking a joint in the studio and coughing afterwards. I like the original soundbite better. It was Bill Ward in a tub farting while he was chugging a beer. But you gotta have fun with the bands that you love, man. That's the most important thing, man. The bands that have the most fun on stage are the most fun to go see, right? Like the band Gwar. You guys know the band Gwar, right? Yeah. They wear monster costumes on stage. And during the show, they take chainsaws and decapitate each other, cut each other's limbs off, and blood squirts all over the audience, right? They have a giant human meat grinder. They throw people in there, and the guts squirt all over the audience. And they take out a giant penis, and they masturbate it on the crowd. I don't know why I looked at you for that part, sir. I apologize. If you ever saw Celine Dion in Las Vegas, same show. So I was down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting my family, and Gwar was playing in town. I'm like, I gotta go see Gwar. So I go to the concert. I'm in the front row for 2 hours getting splattered with blood. I get back to my sister's place at 3 in the morning. I'm like, I got a flight at 8. I gotta go home. I better take a shower. Shower down, get on the flight. Just made it. I'm sitting in my seat. And a minute later, I kind of peek over to the left. And I see this woman looking at me from the other aisle. I'm like, all right, she's checking me out. Probably saw me rocking out at the Gwar show. All right. Look over a few minutes later. Now she's staring at me. Like, holy shit, I'm going to join the Mile High Club tonight, right? And now I get up the nerve to say something to her. I turn to her, and she's got a look on her face like, imagine Gary Busey getting an enema. And I look down and I realize I still have blood splatter all over the back of my arm, and my sneakers are still covered in blood. So you know what she's thinking? That I just pulled an OJ and I'm trying to flee the scene of the crime, right? But now I'm facing her. I didn't know what to do, so I just looked right in her eyes and I went, shh. And I'm not allowed on United Airlines anymore, but it was totally worth it. We love the bands that have fun on stage, right? Sammy Hagar, right? Yeah. 70 years old, still can't drive 55. I can't drive 55 either, unless I blow into that little plastic tube the police installed in my steering wheel a few months ago. All right, we got way too many DUIs in this crowd. That's cool, yeah. Well, it's embarrassing, isn't it? This cop pulled me over, right? And he's asking me a million questions. And he's like, look, let's cut to the chase. Have you been drinking? Because you're slurring your words. And I said, no, I haven't been drinking, but I did play in the NFL for the last 10 years. So. Are you my mommy? Can you take me home? And he definitely knew I was drunk when I assured him I was 100% Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. So don't drink and drive tonight. Stay alive to see your favorite bands play, man. Because a lot of bands love to write about fast cars and shit, too, right? Like Quiet Riot, man. My favorite song by them is Slick Black Cadillac. You guys know that song, right? Yeah. Now, I don't have a Slick Black Cadillac, but I do have a sporty Ford Fusion. Yeah, which is way better on gas, but a really shitty song title. There's one non-hard rock metal band that I love. It's a Muslim pop band. They're called Quran Quran. You might have seen their video, Hungry Like Allah. You gotta have one stupid joke in your act. Come on. As long as our bands stick around, man. Like, my first band ever, I bought Kiss Destroyer. That was my gateway band to all this kind of music. And Kiss is on the end of the road tour, and we're gonna be sad when they're gone, right? But here's the thing, like, should a band as old as Kiss really be singing songs like Christine 16 at this point in their career? Yeah, they should be singing about women their own age, like Mildred 73. By the way, Christine 16, Jeffrey Epstein's favorite song. Here's the line, here's me crossing it. And I don't give a shit. Because we're all adults here, we can handle this stuff, man. I don't like when bands go away for like 20 years and then they need money, and then they come back and go, oh, we're back, we're doing it for the fans. Ticket prices start at $735. Yeah. I love when bands will come out and they'll go, are you ready to rock out? With your cock out. Which, when you think about it, is kind of weird, right? You ever been to a show and right when the band came out, every guy in the audience just whipped his junk out? Hey, you went to go see Kiss, all of a sudden you're in a room full of Louis C.K.'s, right? Now, the one time rock and comedy definitely did not mix was we did a roast at the Rock on the Range Festival in Ohio. And we roasted the singer Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour, who's a great guy, yeah. And has a great sense of humor. But the person they hired to be the roast master had no idea that he was going to be an easy target. And that person was Sebastian Bach. He still does not talk to me to this day because of this roast. Now, you guys have seen the roasts on TV. You know if you're up on the stage, you're going to get your balls busted, right? And it was all rockers and comedians, right? Like I told Scott Ian from Anthrax he looked like the Travelocity gnome. And I wanted to put him in my garden for the summer. I told Corey Taylor his neck was so thick if he swallowed the corn on the cob sideways, nobody would notice. Nobody got offended, but now it's Sebastian's turn, and I didn't even tell the worst joke about Sebastian, right? My buddy Craig Gass, comedian, came up and goes, hey, yeah, Sebastian, I'm glad you're here tonight. You're aging really well. You look like the rotting corpse of Farrah Fawcett. Brutal joke, but you gotta take it, right? Then my buddy Jim Florentine from That Metal Show came up, yeah. He goes, oh, yeah, Sebastian, I remember the early days of Skid Row. You used to go on the Howard Stern show and you would tie your penis in a knot. Yeah, if you could tie your lips in a knot, you'd still be in Skid Row right now. But now it's my turn and Sebastian is pissed. So I go up there and I'm like, hey, Sebastian, I follow you on Twitter. It's a lot of fun, man. Yeah, you tweet about your girlfriend every 3 seconds. Oh, I love my girlfriend so much. Oh, I love you so much, Pumpkin Lips. I said, dude, it's a good thing you have a big dick because you have no fucking balls anymore. And I look out of the corner of my eye and I see something hurtling at me through space. And something hits my right shoulder and I get this warm feeling all over me, right? Like, you ever black out from drinking and piss yourself accidentally? How about on purpose? You ever do that? That'd be weird, right? Yeah. Dude threw a fucking hot coffee at me and hit me with it. Yeah! And the only reason I was kind of pissed is I was trying to cut down on caffeine that month. He stormed that all pissed off. The rest of us all went out and got drunk and had a great time. I smelled like hazelnut and they called me slave to the coffee grind for the rest of the night. And I'll say this also, man, whatever kind of hard rock or metal or rock or even any music, if there's fans of other music here, just embrace it, right? You gotta embrace whatever you like. If you like hair metal, if you like doom metal, if you like stoner metal, thrash metal, black metal, death metal, Norwegian, church burning, symphonic, gender fluid, country and western metal. Just love it. I'll say this right here, and I don't care who knows it. I love the band Winger. That's right. I love the band Winger. You know why? Because they had a hit song called She's Only 17. When you can have a #1 song about being a pedophile, that's a crazy fucking band right there. Kip Winger is the original R. Kelly, that's all I'm saying. I call him R. Winger when I see him. I just toured with a band called Nashville Pussy. You guys might remember Nashville Pussy, yeah. I love those guys, man. We had a great time. We toured Canada. They're from Atlanta, Georgia. They used to be known as the Georgia Pussies. But then people started confusing them with the original Georgia Pussies, R.E.M. Wow, you turned on me for R.E.M., Gallagher? My mom wrote that joke. No, actually, I get my sense of humor from my mom, I swear to God. When I told her I was going on tour again, she goes, who are you going out with again? I go, Nashville Pussy. Without missing a beat, my mom goes, I didn't even know Billy Ray Cyrus was still performing. But my dad, I bonded with my dad over sports, not music, and I'm a big sports fan, and my dad was my Little League coach for many years, which was kind of good and kind of bad, right? Like, I knew I always had a ride to and from practice and the games. That was the good part. The bad part was my dad pitched batting practice. So every time we drove to practice, I'd be like, Dad, we're going to kick this team's ass this weekend. He's like, that's right, son. And we were bonding. On the way home, we rode in fucking silence. Because my dad did the same thing every time that he pitched batting practice. Anybody else on the team that came up, he would lob a ball so slowly right over the center of the plate, Stephen Hawkins could hit a home run off my father, okay? Stevie Wonder, I don't know what you wanted from that joke. When I got up, he became the second coming of Roger Clemens. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, not down the center of the plate. Hit me in the same spot every time, right in the small of my back, yeah. I took so many balls off my ass, it was like doing prison time when I was 13. To this day, I still have girlfriends ask me why I have a Rawlings tramp stamp back there. But you know what? That's what you used to be able to do back then. If you were a parent, that was my dad trying to toughen me up, right? Nowadays, if you're a parent, you do that. If you even touch a teenager the wrong way, you're either the worst parent in the world or Kevin Spacey. But I got him back. I did. You know why? Because my dad climbed telephone poles for a living, which is a great blue-collar job, right? Yeah. But I decided to go to college, and he paid for it. Climbing telephone poles every day, overtime, for 4 years so I could graduate from college. Rutgers University graduate right here. That's right. You don't get to play in someone's garage for 38 people without a college degree. And then I became a comedian. Hope working all that overtime fucking toughened you up, Dad. Because my dad was a guy's guy, right? I remember the first time I told him, I go, hey, Dad, I became a vegetarian. He goes, I knew you were gay. I go, yeah, with all those balls bouncing off my ass, what'd you expect? I didn't even think I was going to get in college because I walked in to go take the SATs. I walked in, I'm like, I got my pencil. And I filled out all those little circles so it spelled out Ozzy. Still got a 980. And then I took the virtual tour, but this is what I did. I did it drunk. Yeah, then my first day of classes, I went to a frat party, got hammered. I found my way right back to my dorm afterwards. I didn't even want to go to Rutgers because I hated the name. I almost went to this college called Marymount College, right? I didn't know anything about it, but just the name Marymount sounded like I could possibly get laid, you know what I mean? Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? Yeah. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But yeah, it's weird being single in 2019. It's kind of interesting and challenging and fun at the same time. But the one thing I realize is, like, when you go on dates with people now, they'll look you up, like, on the internet to make sure you don't have any shady stuff in your past. You know what I mean? Like, I would look you up instantly. Yeah. I went out with this girl, and she's like, I just wanted to let you know I Googled you before the date. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I got nothing to hide. Plus, I pay a company to wipe all that shit off the internet anyway. She's like, well, you probably Googled me to make sure that I wasn't a serial killer. I'm like, I've been dating for 35 years. Most of the fun I'm getting out of tonight is the fact that I might be on a date with a serial killer. She had crazy eyes. I'm like, I'm either going to have the best time of my life or I'm going to be on Forensic Files next week. Listen, I mean, like, I think I would be, I don't have kids, I think I would be a good dad, I really do, but then I start thinking about some of the people who are dads, like, you know, like Woody Allen's a dad. Yeah, Darth Vader's a dad. Rosie O'Donnell is a... I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Darth Vader's not a real dad. I went out with this girl once, and we were walking through New York City. I was telling her a story about how I almost drowned when I was a teenager. And right when I got to the end of the story, the last line I said was, "So I guess it just wasn't my time to go." And just as I said that, a New York City bus went, missed me by like 6 inches. I'm like, holy shit! She's like, are you all right? I go, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, that bus almost hit you. I go, I know, but even worse, I just blew the best punchline I'll ever have in my entire life. Can you imagine the last thing I say is it wasn't my time to go and I get mowed down by a city bus? Yeah, comedians struggle their whole life to find the perfect punchline. Now I gotta go the rest of my life knowing my death will never be as hilarious as it would have been right at that moment. I can see the headlines now. Comedian Don Jamieson dies from his own irony. See, I like the old days, man, where you can just like meet somebody in a bar and you have that animal attraction and you take them home or whatever. Like, I love that stuff, man. Now if I want to watch animals having sex, I watch Nat Geo, right? Yeah, because they always show that stuff. Like, I was watching this thing about how gorillas mate in the wild. You ever see that shit? Gallagher, it's crazy, man. There's like a female gorilla hanging out like over there or something. And then there's like the guy gorilla. He sees her like through the forest. Then he comes over, he starts picking some flies off of her. He bites her face a few times, starts jacking it a little, you know, to show off the dominance thing, you know what I mean? Then he flips her around and starts doing her Kong style from the back, right? There's no dates, there's no asking for permission. It's like Hollywood, you know what I mean? Gorillas are the Harvey Weinstein of the animal kingdom, that's all I'm saying. I don't have a lot of dirty jokes, but the ones I have are really fucking dirty. Which reminds me, if my girlfriend spits after oral sex, is that considered child abandonment? All right, there are some sensitive metalheads in the crowd, that's okay. All these women have breast implants out here in LA and shit, right? I like the natural boobs. I remember when I was like 13, I used to look at my dad's Playboy magazine. Yeah, look at it, you just got real happy. Yeah, remember that? We used to look at the Playboys. Remember the way the women's tits were shaped back then? They were like, I call them banana tits, right? Remember that? They used to like slope down, like so you could like jump skis off the end of them? Yeah, every woman in here is like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but when I said banana tits, they all set up like this, okay? And they were like bananas, right? Like they were nice, beautiful fruit, and the nipple was all the way at the end. It was like the part where you like break it open to peel it. They were fun and playful. They were like water balloons. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you squeeze one, the other one got a little bigger. You know what I mean? Now breasts are hard and angry, right? Yeah, now it's not like massaging a beautiful fruit. It's like doing fucking kettlebells. You know what I mean? Honey, we're going to the gym. Bring your fucking banana tits. Let's go. All right, I'll try to be a little more politically correct. I'm sorry, I don't know all the proper terms, all right? I know, like, you can't even really say men and women anymore, right? Now you gotta say gender fluid, right? I'm 53. Only gender fluid I know comes from a penis or a vagina, okay? I'm sorry, I got a little gender fluid in your eye. I apologize. Let me get some warm water, otherwise that's gonna stick shut right there. Deal with that. Because I know we're all trying to find ourselves. I understand that. It's cool, man. That's why everybody's on that Ancestry.com, right? Yeah. If you don't know what that is, it's like a D.N.A. testing thing where they can find your family. That's what they tell you. But here's what really happens. You send them a check for $100, and they send you a DNA kit with a Q-tip in it, and you swab your cheek, and you put it in a Ziploc bag, and you mail it back to them. And then what they do is they take the Q-tip and they throw it right in the garbage. And then they put on blindfolds and throw darts at maps of the world. And wherever it lands, that's where you're fucking from, man. Yeah, you want to know where you're from? Go on the fucking Maury show. You'll know your baby daddy in about 20 minutes. Like I said, everybody wants to live forever, man. I went for my first colonoscopy. Anybody been for a colonoscopy before? Yeah. So I walk in the waiting room. I go in there, and the woman goes, "Hey, did you drink the solution that we gave you that clears your bowels out completely?" And I said, "No, but I did eat at White Castle last night." And she said, "Close enough." Then she gave me a wristband with all my information on it. So I walk back where they do the procedure, and the nurse stops me. "Stop! Tell me your name and your birthday." And I go, "It's right here on the wristband." She goes, "I know, but I need you to say it verbally." And I'm like, "What do you think? I'm like some anal fetishist who wandered off the street? I'm scalping wristbands in the waiting room because I need a tube shoved up my ass immediately?" Yeah, I'll give you a second to compose yourself, Gallagher. We're all in here because we want to come here to laugh, and there's a lot of love in this room, and I really appreciate it. Take a break from the news once in a while, because that's what brings everybody down. If you watch the news, you think we're all at each other's throats all the time, and it's not true, man. But I even got paranoid. Like, I had this experience recently. So I was in the Sporty Ford Fusion, right? And I'm a chick magnet in that thing, obviously. Now I go to do some errands, and I come back a few minutes later, and I'm parked about 100 feet down the road, and as I'm walking back to my car, I see this black guy looking in my windows, and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is weird, okay, I don't know." But I keep walking, and I'm walking. Now he puts his arm into my driver's side window, and I'm like, "Hey dude, that's my car!" And he just looks up and just starts laughing at me. And I'm like, "Oh my God, there's gonna be a fucking incident here, right?" So now I see he opens the driver's side door, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, that's my car." And he just looks at me and goes, "We have the same car." He had parked his Sporty Ford Fusion right in front of mine. So the optical illusion of me walking down the street looked like he was going into my car. Now he takes out his cell phone, right? And he starts filming. He goes, "Oh, I'm breaking in your car because I'm black, right? That's what it is. I'm an African American, so I must be a criminal. I'm going to put this shit on the internet. I'm going to fucking bury you, dude." And now my whole life is flashing before my eyes, right? I see myself like talking to a Yankee Candle. Yeah, I see Gary Busey getting an enema. You know, I see Gorillas fucking Kong style. Do you believe he did that shit to me? Do you guys think? No? Good. Because it's fake news, okay? That fucking never happens. That's right. You know what happened? I got up there and he goes, "Oh yeah, I got the same car, but mine's the hybrid." I go, "Oh cool, how's that on gas mileage?" He goes, "I have family in South Carolina. I drove the whole way down. I didn't have to fill the tank once." I go, "I have family in South Carolina too, and I can't fly my preferred airline anymore because of the Gwar incident. So maybe I'll switch to the hybrid too when my lease is up." And he drove off and I drove off and nothing happened. I didn't run into fucking Jussie Smollett. So don't let anybody tell you that we're all at each other's throats. 99% of people love each other. And I live by a very simple motto. I do. We're all good people except for the jerk-offs, right? Yeah. And if you don't know who the jerk-offs are, you're probably one of them. So, hey, I had a great time with you guys. My name's Don Jamieson. That's Denim and Laughter. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.